Welcome to the Lou Blakely Show. You're in the right place if you're a service provider who is ready to transition into a more freedom-based business model with digital products. In this podcast, I share with you a unique combination of launch strategy, energetics, and mindset to create true, long-lasting success. It's time to ditch the burnout for good, create the business that you truly want, and share it with the world. Let's get started. Welcome to the Lou Blakely Show. This is episode 5. So today I am talking to you about if you should put your online course on your website or not. Now, spoiler alert, the answer is no. So I'm going to be talking about why this doesn't work and actually what you should do instead. So let's dig in. So I guess because my approach to launching is that I know that sometimes a lot of the courses out there on launching set us up to have massive expectations of our first launch, and then they don't go as well as we would have liked. And that is actually something that I really want to fix. I consider that I'm on a bit of a mission with that because I don't believe that just because you fail the first time means that you are not capable or your product isn't amazing or any of that stuff. Okay, so I do get, because of my approach, I get a lot of people who come to me who have actually already created an online course, and for some reason it hasn't sold, it hasn't met their expectations. Now, there is something in common with all of these people who come to me with an online course that has barely sold any seats at all, or, there's no students, no one's really bought it. And one of the things that I have noticed is probably the biggest common denominator is that these people created their online course first before trying to sell it, and then simply popped it up on their website to sell. Okay, I see it quite a lot, and it's actually the reason why I'm recording this podcast today, because it is something that is really ineffective and I think leads to a lot of disappointment, and I want to fix that. So the idea is that people visiting your website will see it once you've created it and think it's a no-brainer and buy it immediately. I've even seen people go through a launch, close the doors, and then pop it on their website afterwards, almost like out of this fear of missing out on future sales. And I get it, psychologically we think, well, people might like to buy it, so I'll pop it there just in case. And I have to admit, I have actually done this in the past as well. So I'm speaking from personal experience from making this mistake myself. But if we do that, then it kind of takes away the whole point of doing a launch in the first place if we're just going to pop it up on the website. So here's why it doesn't work. There's actually a few pretty logical reasons why this doesn't work, but when I talk to people about this, I find there's a lot of resistance as to why would I take it off my website? So let's dig into it. So most small business owners who have websites do just simply not get enough website traffic for this to even be realistic, even if people were going to buy when they saw it. Okay, most small businesses get very little website traffic, unfortunately, and we need numbers in volume in order for anything like this to even be tested out, let alone successful. Another reason why it doesn't work is there's absolutely no urgency when you could buy now, buy next week, or buy next year. So that money that someone could spend on your online course is likely going to be spent on something else that is more urgent and more pressing when, there's more kind of marketing around it, more persuading and convincing that you need this thing now. If your product doesn't have that, then people are actually going to buy elsewhere. This is very psychological on the end of the buyer. Okay. Another reason why it doesn't work is that most people who do see your digital course aren't yet at a stage where they're ready to buy from you yet. So there's more work to do there on the customer journey. So most people who come to your website aren't there to buy. They're simply checking you out, especially if you're like a service provider and they're looking at how they can work with you, what services you offer. They're not actually looking to come in like an e-commerce capacity and check out, get out their credit card and pay and leave with a course. That's just such a hard sell. If you think about it like that, it's very unlikely that anybody is going to take that action. So The next reason is that generally there's no marketing plan surrounding this. So just leaving the page on your website isn't enough to compel people to buy. So we've already mentioned a few reasons why that's not going to work. But if there's no marketing, none of that stuff is included. So there's no campaign, there's no promo, and there's no urgency. Therefore, people are not going to be convinced that this is the thing that they need in order to solve their problem, whatever that may be. Now, another thing that I notice a lot when people have created an online course and put it on their website and it has it sold, when I actually look at their digital product page, online course page on the website, it is set up more like an e-commerce product page rather than a sales page for a digital course. So these two are two completely different beasts. Most I see are simply the name of the course, the list of what's inside, and a button to purchase. While this model works well in e-commerce and may do okay for a very low-cost item, say less than $50, generally it's not going to cut the mustard as it does not create demand. So, you've heard about why it doesn't work. So what should you do instead? So I am a huge fan of the launching process, which is basically a solid marketing plan with urgency built in, and positioning and great messaging and all of that kind of stuff. Huge. So it's basically like creating a time-bound campaign around your digital product. Opening and closing the doors to your offer, so it's not available all the time, is the key here. So this means that you can focus a lot of effort into your launch period. It's going to be like a big concentration, like a big project, because it's not forever. So you know that you can go hard for 3 weeks and then it's done. Also, the bonus of this is that then you can focus on delivering for your new students once they're in. Another key thing is to create an offer around the digital product. So I'm going to be releasing an episode soon on an offer versus a digital product and what the actual difference is. So keep your eyes out for that. So a digital product, if we think back to that example I used of people setting up like an e-commerce type page that is just literally spelling out what's in the digital product, like what's inside, that doesn't have an offer. Like there is no special things wrapped into it that make people want to buy it, that create demand, that compels people to buy. Okay, so keep your eyes out for a future episode on that. Now, even if you must have your digital product for sale all the time on your website, like it's just a non-negotiable for whatever reason, you still shouldn't have it just sitting on your website in most cases. Instead, you need to create an evergreen funnel around it, which is another way of creating demand through, again, a solid marketing plan that then leads people to your offer. Because we know that people who are coming to your website are just not coming to get out their credit card and check out right there and then. Okay? Now, there's a bit of a scarcity thought around this, that you need it to be available all the time. What if someone wanted it and then it wasn't available and they couldn't buy it? I missed out on a sale. Well, that's actually not true, because as you've learned, the chances of them buying it, even if they ask for it, are very low. And secondly, we want to actually create demand for when we do open our doors. So we're building up anticipation all of the time. And those people are way more likely to go through it and actually complete the course if they're doing it in a community. And, maybe you're doing more of a group coaching program, you're doing weekly calls, then people are actually going to benefit from that experience as well. So there's lots of factors here. So in summary, what you can do to increase demand for your product is run launches instead of having it on your website. You can open and close the doors that the course or digital product is available in order to create urgency, but also allow you to focus on delivery in the best way possible, and also create a really good offer around your digital product. So I hope you found this episode useful. If you've got any takeaways, I'd love for you to take a screenshot and share it on Instagram and tag me in at @LouiseBlakely_. Thanks for being here, and see you next time. Thanks, course creators and go-getters. You're incredible, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit subscribe in your podcast app so you don't miss an episode. If you'd like to find out more about what I offer, head across to loublakely.com. See you next time.